Our friend used my husband's hoodie and it smelled overpoweringly like her. Now my husband refuses to wash it. I think he might have a secret crush on her. For background information, I'm 35. My husband is 38. We've been married for 11 years. We have 2 sons. A young woman, 25, rents an apartment down the street from our house. She and my husband knew each other for years ago because she used to be friends with my brother-in-law, who now lives in another state. He lost contact with almost everyone from his past, including his family, for a while, but he's starting to turn his life around now. So my husband knew her when they were younger, but they didn't stay in contact or have any relationship with each other until last summer when she moved into her current apartment. She's a nice girl. Sometimes, she helps out watching our boys when something comes up. We always invite her to parties or BBQs. She gets along well with everyone. The first thing that bothered me, that could just be me overreacting, was one night. She had come over to watch our sons when our normal babysitter pulled out at the last minute. She always refused payment, so we bought her takeout from a local restaurant with the rest of us, and she ate over. She had been swimming with the boys in our pool and, at one point, said something about being cold. I was going to tell her I would run upstairs and grab her one of my sweaters when my husband took off the hoodie he was wearing and gave it to her. It made me uncomfortable, but I don't know if I overreact. I talked to my husband and told him how it made me feel, and told him next time in a situation like that, it was so much easier to go and get one of my sweaters. He did apologize, but it didn't help that after he gave it to her, she kept it for a few days. When she brought it back, it smelled overwhelmingly like her. I asked him if he wanted me to wash it, and he said no. As far as I know, it still hasn't been washed. Last night, she came over for a graduation party for one of her sons. She got a phone call in the middle of it and left for about an hour. My husband went over to check on her, and she came back but seemed upset and said something was going on with her mom health-wise. I didn't get much more info than that because I was hosting the party. Later on, almost everyone had left. I was putting the boys to bed, and they were talking by the fire pit on our swing. She still seemed upset, and he had his arm around her shoulders, clearly trying to cheer her up. None of that bothered me. What bothers me is that when I came back outside, they were both asleep on the swing with her head on him. I woke them up, and they both seemed genuinely surprised. She got up, but they didn't seem to get caught or anything. I talked to my husband again about how it bothered me, and he apologized but said he was just trying to make her feel better. Since then, the relationship has been completely platonic. I have nothing to be uncomfortable about, and he asked if I would be upset if she were a cousin. I told him, no, but she's not a cousin. He said okay and understood, but I don't know if he did or was just tired and wanted the conversation to be over peacefully. My mother agreed that if she were in this situation, she would be upset, but my sister thinks I'm overreacting, and she'd be fine with this, but my sister also isn't married. I'm unsure if I overreact, so I look for other perspectives. Update: I sat down and had another talk with him. I told him I wasn't accusing him of anything and explained exactly how everything had made me feel. He seemed genuinely sorry that I felt that way and said he was happy that I talked to him about it all and was open about it. But he said that he didn't understand. He said that if I was secure in our relationship, and his loyalty and monogamy, and that if I trusted her, he didn't understand why I was upset about these things. I tried to ask him if he would feel like it wasn't a big deal if the roles were reversed, and it was a male friend who I was getting close to like that. He said that if there was a male, and he knew the feelings were completely spiritual, he would be fine with it. But he said that he respected that I wasn't and that he would be more aware around her. He said he didn't think it was fair to cut her off or stop inviting her over or have her watch the boys, and I agreed. I'm glad that he respected my boundaries and heard me out. I wish he understood better where I came from, though. Either way, thanks for the advice about talking to him again. I'm happy I knew how it all made me feel, and he knows now. Update 2. So I went to get it and washed the hoodie. While folding the laundry, my husband saw that I had washed it. He seemed annoyed. He sighed, rolled his eyes, and shook his head. I didn't say anything, though. Later on, as he was putting everything away into his closet, he held up the hoodie and was like, I told you that you didn't have to wash it. If you're so sure I'm going to cheat on you, why does it matter what my hoodie smells like? And then he took it and threw it onto the floor of his closet instead of hanging it up with the rest of them. I told him I didn't think he was going to cheat on me, but I didn't like his clothing smelling overpoweringly like another woman. He said it hadn't smelled overpoweringly like her. She had already washed it, which smelled like her fabric softener. He said I was harping on this, behaving ridiculously, etc. I told him that all I had done was wash a hoodie, which was the same thing I would have done if one of our kids' clothes came back from a friend's house. Today, after he got dressed, his closet door was open, and I saw the hoodie wasn't on the floor anymore, but it wasn't with his other sweatshirts either. I asked him where it was, and he didn't answer. He just said, really low to himself, "You've got to be kidding me, here we go again." I told him that I wasn't trying to start anything. It had been on the floor, and now it wasn't, so if it needed to be cleaned again or ironed, I would. He turned around and told me, "Let go of the F-King hoodie. I'm not talking about it again." I was shocked because he never talked to me like that before, especially not in front of our kids. He didn't even apologize. He just left for work and slammed the door. I didn't mean to make such a big deal about the hoodie. I feel like he's making a big deal about me washing it, right?